Well, guys, I'm so excited about today's episode because my friend Annie F. Downs is here. Annie, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's like the second time on the show, right?
I know. I love the room.
Thank
love the
you.
couch.
Yes.
Love what you've done with the place.
Oh, appreciate it.
Love
I know.
what you've done with
Here
it's
we
lovely.
are. Okay, so for those of you people that don't know who you are, Annie, tell everyone kind of what you do.
Yeah, so I have a couple of different legs to the stool that we do. I write
Appreciate
books, travel and speak, conferences, events, churches when we are traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a podcast and a podcast network that we run called That Sounds Fun. So this is kind of like an exciting time to be having the book come out, to have the network, to have the podcast, kind of explaining the importance of fun. So
Because we need it today, people.
we just need it, right?
Oh, so this is why I'm so glad you're here. Because, okay, well, number one, the podcast is so great.
Thank you.
You know, I love the podcast. That Sounds Fun. So many of you, I know, listen to Annie. And then the new book titled That Sounds Fun.
Well, you know
this
what
is book
happened?
number what?
Oh gosh, 8 maybe?
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
Annie. I was
something
going
like that.
one
You're
hand.
going, how many?
Honey.
It's a two-hander for sure.
It is a
I'm just not
two-hander.
sure how far
Sorry,
down.
I should have known that.
Not offended. Yeah, you know what? The thing is, this was the plan before 2020. The plan was like, okay, it's time to write about fun. We talk about it a lot. When people come up to me at airports or it happened the other day at a grocery store here. People walk up to me and they go, I want to tell you what I do for fun. And it's like they expect me to be the judge.
Interesting.
Like that I'm accidentally the expert on fun. And so then it was like, okay, I should write about it because I do talk about it a lot. And then 2020 happened and we went like, oh, we really have to learn how to do this because it's actually a survival technique.
Yes. So when you've been talking about fun, like you said, and kind of like been the foundation of who you are and what people know you as. So you did some research and stuff for the book. So like, what were things about fun that you realized about people that you may not have known before writing?
Well, you know, one of the big things, I think you'll think this is so fascinating, Rach. One of the big things was that people think fun has to be big. The overall thing was, I don't have time for fun and I don't have enough money for fun.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And you just kind of went like, hold on. I had this moment where as I was listening to people, I was going, wait, hold on. What do you mean that you don't have the time or the money? You have today. And we don't have to spend any money. And then the other thing I learned is that everyone thinks fun is on some sort of sliding scale and they are afraid they don't match up to it.
Like, it's a little fun.
Yes,
not like really fun.
Well, and they'll say things like, it sounds fun to me, but it's okay if this doesn't sound fun to you. Or I know this is a silly answer. And I'm always like, your fun is your fun. That is the joy of this particular book. And this idea is like, what if you just loved who you are and what you love?
Yeah.
How fun would life be if you just were satisfied a little bit with some things about you that opened up the door to a lot more fun?
Because that speaks to a level of depth, right? Of confidence there, of being like, living out who you really are. And I wonder what keeps people from doing that. Like, what do you think that is?
Well, I have a couple of thoughts. First of all, I think that this time right now in the world has convinced us we have to be a professional at everything. And once you become really good at something, you better go professional. Don't keep hobbies, start making money off of it.
Yeah.
I've started cross-stitching. Don't just cross-stitch for gifts. You could sell those. Literally, the girl at the fabric store yesterday told me she's a cross-stitcher too. We bonded. And just me and my cross-stitching crowd. And I said, what do you do with them when you're done? And she was like, oh, I usually sell them. You should start selling them. And immediately I went like, why do we always do this?
Interesting.
And so that's one of the hindrances is we think, well, I got to be a professional at this. Every conversation we have, the topics we talk about, we think, well, I shouldn't say something or I'll get canceled. I shouldn't say something or I'll be offensive. I shouldn't say something because I don't know enough. When I think 50 years ago, friends sat around and maybe worked on a quilt together and they talked about what they thought and they were okay that they weren't all professionals at it.
Yes.
And we've lost that. And it's just this re-invitation to like not be great at everything, but try.
So good, which is kind of vulnerable, right? Because we live in a world that, like you said, I'm like, you should be good at it. Like if you're gonna go for it, like you have to be good at it.
Yeah.
And Enneagram, we both love the Enneagram.
Yes.
But hearing and people say this, which I think is true, that America is an Enneagram 3.
Yes.
Like we are the achievers. So it's like, we naturally are gonna be utilitarian in all these aspects. Like, oh, if you're good at something, make money on it. Just do it. Do it. And
the minute someone stops writing personally and writes publicly, they have to get a headshot. Right?
That's
like
right.
all of a sudden, they can't still keep using the pictures of them with their kids or them with their friends. Now it's time to have a headshot because someone's going to read my blog. And you're like, no, just keep writing.
Yeah.
Just keep writing. And there are times where your hobbies become your career. That has happened to me, for sure.
For sure.
But I'm not going to become a career cross-stitcher.
That's right.
That's not, but I am.
But it's still
my
the fun.
phone percentage last week, Rachel, was down 52%. Because I was working on a cross stitch instead of just watching a show and scrolling.
Oh, yeah. Double screen.
I still had the football games on.
Yeah.
And I was instead cross stitching.
Yeah.
I think we've got to give each other permission and give ourselves permission.
Yes.
To be amateurs.
Yes.
You don't have to be great at everything. It is so much more fun when you don't feel the pressure to be great at everything.
So great. Okay, so pandemic.
Yeah.
2020, right? I feel like it's like the topic everyone talks about, but it is our world.
Yep.
And I think with this subject specifically, I feel like you can pinpoint a lot of big ones in society: anxiety, depression. I mean, like there's a lot of things that came out of 2020.
Right.
And so the need for fun is like more crucial than ever.
Well, because here's what happened is all of our trips canceled and all of our amusement parks closed and all the movie theaters closed and all the bars closed. All the things we went to thinking that was fun were gone.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it was like, well, then let's play more games on our phone. And that is fun. And that is okay when it's in balance, right? And I think the thing I learned and the thing I watched in my friends, and one of the reasons I believe in the timing of this book is going, okay, now what do we do now? What do we do now that we've lived in a season without the things that we have found to be our escape?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What is it if we can't escape into a movie or to Paris or to Dollywood? What do we do?
Yep.
And now that things are Dollywood's open. I'm going in a couple of weeks. Dollywood's open. I have learned how to have fun in the life I have right now, what it looks like in my house to do puzzles while listening to audiobooks, to sit around with friends and do something different where we sit around a fire and just talk, play more card games. There's just been more simplicity. Mm-hmm. And I think the big funs are fun. We've got to relearn that the simple funs are just as fun.
Because that's your lifeline, right?
That's it.
And in the moments where everything is taken, like you said, and it's such a point of contentment. I mean, there's so much there that plays into this, which I love. And when we talk about the money side, I always talk about how money, it doesn't buy happiness. That's such a cliche, but it is true. You can enjoy and have fun with things.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, a new car, sure, it's fun. But like the ultimate fun, and even what you're talking about, the depth of the joy of life doesn't really come from the things that you buy even. Yeah. And I've realized that. I'm like, man, the things that I can replace don't seem as joyous and fun, but it's the irreplaceable things. It is your health, right? It is the relationships. It is these things. Right. And so diving in there, and I think that's the point, is like finding the fun even on a more human level that you can get to, the simplicity of it.
Yes, that's right. It is reminding yourself and reminding each other that, and that's such a big part of this has to be a community thing. Now you can do it alone, but there is something about your whole community going like, okay, we used to spend this amount of money to go to this really nice dinner, and that is great, and we will get to do that again.
Yep.
But what if we actually picked one of those recipes and we all four made it, and then we judged it like on Great British Baking Show, right? Like there's just other ways to have the same moment, to have the same. Now, there isn't a quite the joy to me of like when everybody's together and having the best time. That for my personality and for me is really fun when there's big groups of people. I can't wait to go to a big sporting event where everybody is. Yeah. But there has been something really cool about watching, when we watched the SEC, that there were some people there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
I mean, I think we don't have to rely on money or airplanes or even having a week off of work to have fun.
Yeah.
What if we gave ourselves, our family, 2 hours? A couple of years ago, my family did this thing where we didn't go on vacation, but instead each child in the family planned a whole day. And you had a budget and you had the whole day. And we went to places within driving distance of my parents' house that we had never been to, but it was all right there. And we all spent unlimited money. What kind of fun is sitting at your doorstep that you just haven't found yet?
Yes, exactly. So people that are struggling to have fun. Yeah. People that are kind of stuck in that like, they're probably maybe depending on where they live, still a little isolated, still not going back to work. Mm-hmm. And like, I need joy. I need fun back in my life. Like what's the first one or two things they can do to kind of start starting besides buying the new book?
Right. Thank you. I would say one of the first things is, what would you have done it when you were 5? Go back and ask yourself that. You say, I ride my bike. Well, go outside. get a bike, figure out a way to move around in ways that you haven't yet. So I'd ask yourself, what would you do when you were 5? And then the other thing I'd say is invite some people into what you're feeling. If you have one friend, if you can call your counselor, if you can call anyone in your family and just say, man, I can't tell you the last time I had fun. If you planned an hour of fun for me with $30, what would you tell me to do?
Oh, that's good.
And let someone else go, oh, I have not thought about this, but you know what I would tell you to do? Go to Walmart and get this, this, and this and build, get you a Lego set. You played with Legos a ton when you were a kid. We've got to let ourselves, Rach, it matters so deeply to me that we let ourselves and let each other like what we like. If you liked Legos when you were a kid, get a set and play with Legos. Fine.
Yep.
There is nothing wrong with that. Like, allow yourself to feel some of the innocence that you're missing in your adult life by reconnecting a little bit with what you loved when you were little.
It's so great. I mean, I feel like too, life, it can get so tactical, right? And like, once I talk about this all the time, but I'm like, if we're not careful, we go through a week and it's just like, wake up, boom, 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 go to bed, wake up, boom, boom, boom. Right. And you don't look up. And usually I talk about looking up and like looking to the future, dreaming, continue to like look to see what's out there. But I think even looking backwards, at times it's like, what are those things that I've lost? What are those things that, man, I used to do that brought me joy and brought the fun, but I don't do it anymore because of time, because of seasonal life, whatever. And so bring elements of that back.
And those big funds, vacations are fun.
Sure.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
And so have days that you set aside, but have hours you set aside too. Start being a little more intentional. You don't need $1,000. You don't need a week. You need $20 and 4 hours with your family. Or you need no dollars in the park with your best friend. And you can have a ton of fun.
So good, Annie. Okay, the new book. That sounds fun. Oh, okay, where can everyone pick it up?
Everywhere, all the places. February 2nd. It's your favorite local bookstore is always my first stop. We love small businesses owned by a lot of different kinds of people. And then it'll be online everywhere you love to get books.
So great. And again, her podcast, That Sounds Fun, is incredible. And a whole network. You have like a whole team now.
That's right. It's so fun. I mean, it's so fun. Like, we love helping other people make shows that make a difference in the lives of people. Putting light where there was once darkness is one of my favorite things to do.
That's it. Okay. We'll check out everything that Annie's doing. When we get to be traveling again, we'll be back on stages.
That's right. We will.
Speaking to the crowds. Seriously, though, thanks for being here.
Oh, love you. My pleasure.